Psalm 62 is attributed to King David, who faced numerous trials throughout his reign, from political upheaval to personal betrayal. This psalm reflects a period of introspection and reliance on God amidst adversity. David's reign was marked by economic disparities that often led to social unrest, which David had to address both as a king and a spiritual leader. David faced both internal strife, including rebellion from his own son Absalom, and external threats from neighboring nations. His leadership required constant navigation of political alliances and conflicts, which often tested his faith and reliance on God. His relationship with God was central to his rule and his real character, despite his flaws. David's psalms often express his personal devotion, his struggles with sin, and his profound reliance on God's mercy and guidance. Here he writes, "For God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation." In his rise from shepherd boy to king, David has seen several challenges. But at the beginning of this song, David is experiencing an introspective moment of self-actualization, having reached a level of success that he is fulfilling the purpose for which God placed him on earth. So here, David declares his sole reliance on God for salvation, emphasizing silent, patient waiting. This reflects a deep trust in God's timing and provision. David's faith teaches him that his success is from God and not the more active pursuit of solutions through human means. He alone is my rock and my salvation. David uses metaphors of a rock and a fortress to describe God's protective and unshakable nature. Despite political challenges or personal instability, David affirms that his security in God remains steadfast. How long will you assault a man? David is under the pressure of constant attacks and plots to attack. He must stay constantly vigilant while feeling misunderstood and unable to trust some of those around him. In this passage, we see David venting his frustrations about his adversaries, highlighting their relentless attacks. He compares himself to a leaning wall or tottering fence, suggesting vulnerability, yet holding on to the hope of divine rescue. David is in a desperate situation, but because of his faith in God, David is not in despair. With all the intrigue and turmoil around him, David reaffirms his commitment to wait for God alone, recognizing God as the source of his hope. This repetition underscores the importance of patience and faith in times of distress. He only is my rock and my salvation. Continuing the theme in this song, David uses the rock metaphor to re-emphasize his declaration of trust in God's protection, emphasizing that he shall not be shaken, a bold statement of faith and confidence in God's unchanging nature. On God rests my deliverance and my honor. My mighty rock, my refuge is God. In a world then and now where a leader's ego is often the biggest thing about them, David attributes his deliverance and honor to God, acknowledging him as a refuge and a source of strength. This reflects an understanding that true honor comes from God, not from human achievements or accolades. Now, David turns from personal reflections to advising as the nation's lay religious influencer. He encourages them to trust God and with an open mind and heart pray to Him. He emphasizes that God is a refuge for all, extending his personal experience of God's protection to his audience. Just as Solomon acknowledged God's sovereignty in his prayer at the dedication of the temple, Psalm 62, penned by his father, underscores the importance of recognizing God's central role in our lives, a theme that resonates in times of both personal and communal challenges. Psalm 62 encourages modern Christians to cultivate a deep trust in God, especially in tumultuous times. This trust involves patience and a willingness to wait on God's timing. The psalm promotes a prayer life that is honest and open, teaching believers to pour out their hearts to God, sharing their fears, hopes, and struggles. By sharing his own reliance on God, David sets an example for community leaders to encourage faith and reliance on God within their communities. Modern Christians have real and virtual eyes looking at them. We influence people, even when we are unaware that they are watching. Our job is to bring people to Christ. By being openly submissive to God, David pointed the nation to the source of his strength. Psalm 62 offers timeless guidance on the importance of trusting God as our ultimate protector and deliverer. That's the lesson for this week. Have a great week.